Happy Friday, everybody. Michael LaFido coming to you live from our new platform, Luxury Fridays. We've been doing this. We launched this the first week of November, and we launched it on Clubhouse. We got some amazing feedback, but I'm a big believer that video is not going away, and we can impact and get in front of more consumers and more agents through video. So that's what we're doing today, our first live stream through StreamYard and Luxury Fridays. I'm your host, Michael LaFido, coming to you live from chilly Chicagoland. If you would do me a favor, type in the comment feature where you're listening from. I got Chandler, Arizona. Thanks for joining us, David. And anybody else, feel free to type in your comment, a question you have. This is really about you. It's all about real estate. I'm going to have a mixture of some consumers on here. If you have a question about real estate, do's, don'ts, second opinions, I'm thinking about doing this, doing that, let us know. But it's really geared towards the real estate agent, broker, team leader community of all brands. Doesn't matter where you're based, how many years experience you have. There's no bad questions. This is all real estate related. Again, we're streaming this live on YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You can go to our YouTube channel, Marketing Luxury Group, on our YouTube channel to find out, to watch previous episodes once this is recorded, and if you're watching this after the fact. So I got people from Tucson and Phoenix and Scottsdale. We got the warm climates. Please send it up to Chicago. When I woke up this morning and went to Orange Theory Fitness, it was -3, -3 out with the wind chill. I think it was 17 below. So we definitely could use some warm weather up here. So the goal, I want to give you a recap of the goal of this. The goal of this is to raise the bar. 5.5 years ago, I launched a course, a designation called Luxury Listing Specialist. And I will actually show you that will be, here we go. You see it coming across. 5.5 years ago, we launched our designation called Luxury Listing Specialist. And we're doing an upcoming training up in Denver coming up. We're actually streaming it live as well for people that aren't comfortable traveling. You can watch it live, a full day training on Thursday the 20th. So we're 13 days away. And you can go to luxurydesignation.com for more information, the itinerary. We're going to have a bunch of bonus items and cool materials for people that attend. We're going to tour a mansion. It's going to be absolutely amazing. If you go to luxurydesignation.com, you'll see a video from a recent training we had in Napa, which was absolutely amazing. We had 70 agents there from 19 states represented. But when we launched our course 5.5 years ago, it was really consumer based. We wanted to raise the bar for the industry so that the consumer, when they're hiring a real estate agent, we want that consumer to have a great experience. And so that is why we do not have any previous luxury sales to go through our course. We want agents to be empowered. We want agents to have the tools and the resources to be successful. So that is a little backdrop. Again, I'm the author of the book, Luxury Listing Specialist. You can find it on Amazon. Again, if you're getting value from our podcast, we just released our 170th episode. 170th episode. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher. You can just go to luxurylistingpodcast.com, or you can look up on iTunes Luxury Listing Specialist. So we launched that. We just released our 170th episode. We got some great episodes on there where we interview newer agents, experienced agents, cutting edge best practices. Recently, I interviewed an agent who has gone through our course, and she had never listed a luxury home in her life, and she just secured a $5 million listing. Jennifer Williams with Coldwell Banker is doing some amazing things. So again, we interview experienced agents, newer agents, service providers. We're always looking for guests. We're always looking for content. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to me, you can go to joinluxgroup.com. You can find my contact information there if you go to joinluxgroup.com. So it looks like we got people from Chicago and Arizona on, and I know we're streaming on a lot of various platforms as well, where we're going to have people from all across the world. Please type in a comment if you have a question, luxury real estate related, non-luxury real estate related. Please type in a comment. We have going on right now, I'm a licensed agent in state of Illinois, and we have a property that is under contract and it's closing today, 1.3 million. There's no other agent involved, and that was in the private network. So I want to talk to you a little bit about building your database and communicating with your database today. Here we are, the 7th of January 2022. Hopefully you've been working on your goals. Hopefully you have some visual reminders. And I'm a big believer on mindset is really important, and you have to have the right frame of mind. Okay, goals and mindset are important. You know, I believe if you hang out with 5 overachievers, you're bound to be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 top producing agents, you're bound to be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 people that have a victim mentality, I hate to use the word Karen, but they're negative. They're just they're like vampires of your time. You're bound to be the 6th. So choose your connections wisely, plan your day, and thanks for the viewership today. Again, we're going to be doing these each Friday. We call them Luxury Fridays, all things real estate related. Again, no bad questions. Please ask them. And we're going to be bringing on guests as well. So if you know of somebody or you would like to be a guest, we're going to bring on guests to our show. But this is our first launch of the video component. So I was talking to you about the private network. I was talking to you about this property that we are putting under contract. We'll put under contract. We're closing on today. And it was a referral. I was referred to this seller because I sold a similar priced home in this neighborhood. And it's really about the circle of trust, right? If you remember from the movie from 2000 with Robert De Niro, Meet the Parents, the circle of trust. That is the key to building a successful business. I don't care what industry. I have people watching this that are entrepreneurs. I have teachers watching. I have stay-at-home moms watching, because we're streaming on so many platforms. But building a strong database, but basically doing what you say you're going to do, under promise and over deliver, is the key to attract opportunities. Because when I teach other real estate agents, we have courses approved for continuing education in Georgia, Florida, Texas, soon to be Illinois. We're going to be expanding. By the way, we're going to be expanding. We can ramp it up to 46 states pretty quickly. So if you are interested in maybe being an instructor, CE, continuing education instructor for real estate agents, let me know. We'd love to talk to you more about that. But the database is really important. I was talking about Meet the Parents and Robert De Niro. The circle of trust is really important in all price points. Okay, in all price points. Okay, there's cold marketing, lead gen, prospecting, working other people's open houses. And then there's warm marketing. So that's cold marketing, lead gen. And then there's warm marketing, your database, your sphere. Okay, and we talk about both. Okay, but of course the referrals come from your database and your sphere. If you do a great job, if you do what you say you're going to do, you under promise and you over deliver. And with Meet the Parents, what I'm talking to you about is on Luxury Fridays, it's very difficult to penetrate and work with the high net worth individuals and those luxury sellers. So it's really it's important that you do what you say you're going to do. But even before we do that, I think it's important that you look at your branding. I call it fresh eyes analysis. Maybe you've heard of SWOT analysis, SWOT. S stands for strengths. So what are your strengths on social media and your branding and your marketing and your website? What are your weaknesses? And oh, by the way, it's going to be very difficult for you to pinpoint your weakness. So I've written a couple books, but as I mentioned, Luxury Listing Specialist. When I wrote this book, did I do some proofreading? Yes, but I had others proofread it because they could poke holes and they could identify errors in my writing or grammatical errors or spelling errors that maybe I missed. They could poke holes in it. So when you're doing a SWOT analysis, strengths, that's what S stands for, weakness, you might not be able to identify weaknesses in your marketing, in your branding, in your website. So it's important that you have people around you that are more successful than you, that can be honest with you in a direct way that, is tactful, but they don't tell you what you want to hear. All right. So some of you are listening, some of you are watching. Be difficult for me to check my text messages with questions. So I'd prefer that you add your questions in the remarks. So whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, Trey, environment is everything. And Trey, I owe you a call. Thanks for listening in, which reminds me, I'll get back to you, Trey. I apologize for that. Your environment is everything. And when we talk about your environment, could be in the office. You ever go into the office and I call them negative Nancy or negative Nick. They're always complaining. Oh, the office is cold. There's no coffee. The copier's broke again. They're really cancerous about that. So your environment is everything. Okay. So really important that you take yourself out of the environment if it's toxic, if it's cancerous. I was a former high school gym teacher at Glenbard South from 1990 in Glen Ellen, Illinois, from 1998 to March 19th of 2010. And I had a fellow colleague that was a gym teacher with me, physical education teacher. I won't say his name, but he was sarcastic and he was negative. I mean, the way he talked to his family, his daughters, he was always negative to his students. And it was a toxic environment. And when I, if you will, retired from teaching, I felt like Shawshank Redemption, the image on Shawshank, when he crawled through the sewer and he gets out the other side, it's raining and he looks up. It was like freedom. I mean, the environment was so negative. I couldn't wait to get out of the toxicity, if there's such a thing. There was toxicity. So the environment is everything, Trey. You're absolutely right. So great point there. So your environment's everything. You want to build your database, your mindset. Your mindset is key. Okay. Lisa Hayes says it all the time. She said, be careful how you talk to yourself, because guess what? You are listening. Be careful how you're talking to yourself, because guess what? You are listening. So it's really important that you guys understand that environment, your mindset, developing systems, having a strong team, having a strong organization that believes in you. They give you the tools and the resources. I had a new member join my team today. Matter of fact, this guy was on The Bachelor. He was on The Bachelor and didn't win, but he was on The Bachelor in Chicago. And I'm so excited to have him, former athlete. I love surrounding myself with former athletes or coaches because they understand the environment. They understand workload. They understand putting in the time. No different than New Year's resolution. Why do most New Year resolutions fail within the first 2 to 3 weeks of the new year? Here we are 1 week in, because people don't have systems in place. They don't have visual reminders, and they don't put it a priority. I do work out at Orange Theory Fitness, as I mentioned, but there's another fitness place out there called Eat the Frog. Eat the Frog. And the concept of Eat the Frog is whatever you are least likely looking forward to in your day, take care of that early. Get it out of the way, because if you say, I'm going to put it off to the end of the day, guess what? It won't happen that day. So whether it be working out, whether it be your devotional, whether it be writing down your goals, that's one of the things between myself and my assistant we do is we write down our daily task. At the end of the day, we write down our carryover items that weren't completed that day. And when we start that next day, we look over our to-dos, right? I like to prioritize A, B, C list. Your A list is your highest priority you want to get done today. Your B list is, hey, I'd like to get it done today, but this week it's important. and your C list is, it's important. I want to get it done at some point, but it's not the A or the B list. Okay. So that is something that's really important. Again, I'd love to hear from where you're from. If you're just tuning in, please let us know where you're from. I got a lot of Chicago. I got a lot of Texas. Let me know you can hear me okay. But we're talking about, here we are, Luxury Fridays. Every Friday, tune in, same time, same place. Actually, we might bump it up for a couple hours next week, but you can always go to joinluxgroup.com. joinluxgroup.com. If you go to joinluxgroup.com, I'm typing it in right now, you can always find the most, let me finish that, boom. If you go to joinluxgroup.com, you can always see when the next broadcast is going to be. joinluxgroup.com. Awesome. So anybody have any questions today? I want to open this up. I've been doing a little introduction, give you a little background on Luxury Fridays. Every Friday, we want to raise the bar for the industry. We want to help consumers. Last year, I sold a home for $1,450,000 in the town of St. Charles. The home was right down the street from Jennifer, Donnie Wahlberg and Jenny McCarthy. And that client, that seller, was listed with another agent. But we were connected through Facebook because we went to high school, and she saw some of the things I was doing online. We had on our podcast, and she would chime in and ask questions. So I want you, if you are a friend of mine on social media and you're not a real estate agent, but you have a real estate question that you have, feel free to ask it. Virtual Tour Tuesday. Great question from Scottsdale, Arizona. How did I create a breakthrough in luxury real estate? Were you on a team or was I solo? That's a great question. That might be one of the most common questions I get when I'm on podcast or I'm speaking from stage. This month, we have a couple different events. As I mentioned, we have our event that is going on in Colorado, and there's still about 7 tickets left in Colorado. And we're also virtually streaming it. So there's 1,000 tickets there because it's virtual. You can go to luxurydesignation.com. But getting back to your question, and it was a great question, is that's one of the things people ask me when I'm on our podcast. And when I go to these events, I'll be speaking at EPM Mortgages event in Atlanta at the end of the month. Really looking forward to that. Doing some great things, EPM Mortgages. And that's one of the number one questions I get. How did you break into luxury? Well, for me, my story was a little bit different than everybody else's. You each have your own story. Sometimes we're not proud of our story, but you need to tell your story. Your story is what makes you authentic and what makes you you. And many times people are embarrassed about their story. They're not proud of their story. But like Jennifer Williams, who I had on my podcast about a month ago now, she told her story, how she was down to her last 50 bucks. And she invested in our course. And her authenticity was so real. I said, I got to get you on my podcast to tell this because others can identify with you. So tell your story. You know, one of my speaking coaches, 10 years ago, I hired him, James Malinchek, he's out of Las Vegas. He talks about from mess to success. So maybe you had rock bottom or something you weren't proud of. That should be part of your story. So for me, I was a teacher. I was a part-time agent. I was the second leading producer for the entire Midwest through a large franchise called Realty Executives. I was the second leading producer, working about 12 to 14 hours a week as a part-time agent, full-time teacher. But for me, I knew I could affect thousands of lives in this industry. And so for me, I made the transition from part-time agent to full-time agent consultant because I can impact thousands of lives. But I tell that story. I tell the story how I was a teacher and a coach and how I became a top agent. But getting back to your question, my breakthrough in luxury. For me, I had a course, which I'll show you real quick. Let me step away. I had a course I created called Ultimate Listing Blueprint. It was a box of 4 CDs and 2 DVDs and had 12 modules, a 12 module course called Ultimate Listing Blueprint. It was a $597 course. Well, unbeknownst to me, somebody from a large Realogy franchise. Again, Realogy is Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, Century 21, ERA, Better Homes and Garden. Somebody from Realogy contacted me. They had bought my course, and they really, unbeknownst to me, they bought my course and they really enjoyed it. They got a lot out of it. They called me to thank me for the course, and they said, I gave your name to an agent who sells a lot of luxury, but unfortunately, she discounts her fee a little bit. Would you might be getting a call from her. So I ended up switching my real estate office to that office in Hinsdale, Illinois. And Hinsdale, year in and year out, they're number one or number two for most $1 million sales in the Chicagoland suburbs. And so I went to where the money was in that case. I hung my license in an office where there were a lot of luxury homes. That might be something you consider. Another thing you might consider is joining a team or an organization that has the tools and the resources to provide you with success until you have your own track record of selling high-end and luxury homes. In other words, leveraging other people's, like OPP, remember the old song, other people's properties, leveraging other people's network, other people's successes till you have your own. The other thing you could do, so I was a solo agent. I was not on a team, to get back to your question. The other thing that you could do is you could offer to work other people's open houses. So I have a gentleman on my team right now that's going to be doing an open house for an $875,000 listing this weekend we have. And that's why he's doing it. He's trying to increase his average sale price. So he's working somebody else's open house. Remember I talked to you early on, there's warm marketing, your database, your sphere, and there's cold marketing, lead gen, prospecting, working other people's open houses. So in this case, Larry is working my open house. You can go to other broker open houses. Maybe you know a gentleman out of Miami, Amit Bhutta. Amit, he's with Compass, I believe. He was on my podcast probably a year and a half ago. And he shared how he broke into luxuries. He went to other agents' broker open houses, got their permission, and would do Facebook Live videos and tag the agent. But each week, because we're basically in a dating app industry, so if somebody's on Facebook and they're scrolling up, they're scrolling up, they're scrolling up, and all of a sudden they see you on Facebook week in and week out in front of an amazing property. By the way, by default, many people's Facebook is on mute, so they're not even listening to you, but because they're at work and they're bored. Like I was having a discussion with somebody yesterday on Facebook who's a teacher, and I said, shouldn't you be teaching? Well, he was homesick. But my point is, while people are working, sometimes they're scrolling through Facebook. So your posts need to be engaging. Even if they don't know what you're saying, they could see you at a house giving a property tour, so you can leverage other people's properties. So those are just some of the ways that you can break into luxury. And this is what we're going to be covering every week on Luxury Fridays. Again, I have some great resources. You can go to joinluxegroup.com, joinluxegroup.com. We update the live stream, the YouTube live stream every week there at the top button. But you'll also see some other great resources at joinluxegroup.com. So great question. Thank you for that. Anybody else have a question? Great question. How to break into luxury. But it really is your mindset. You know, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about selling high-end and luxury homes. Number one, you got to be licensed X amount of years. Number two, you got to be an experienced agent. Number three, you got to live in a home, a market where there's a lot of homes that are $1 million plus. I'd be interested if I were to ask everybody on the show, what price point do you think $1 million is when we're talking about homes in your market? Just go ahead and type that in. If I were to ask you, what's a luxury home in your market? Type in the price point. I'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. While you're doing that, again, if you're getting value, hit subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit subscribe. We need more subscriptions. Hit like on Facebook. Okay, we could appreciate it. Share it with others. Again, Michael LaFido here. I'm based in Chicagoland. I'm the founder of the LUXE designation. I'm the author of the book, Luxury Listing Specialist. By the way, I got to give you some swag. We're going to start giving away some swag on this as well. We're going to figure out each week, we're going to be giving away prizes as well. We have some great swag, luxury specials, various swag. I'll type in the URL where you can get that. You can just go to luxuryspecialistgear.com, luxuryspecialistgear.com, and anybody that ends up buying a shirt, by the way, it's not a profit center for us, literally. But anybody that buys any of the shirts that we have there, and we got a lot of shirts. We also have our objection handling playing cards. We have some really cool playing cards. I'm looking for them. I don't see them now. You can find all those on Luxury Specialist Gear. I asked you, what do you think luxury price points is in your market? We're getting some great comments here. Heather Knox, 1.2 million. Cole Hain, 1.5. American Made, 1 million and above. Virtual Tour Tuesday, 1.5. Alex, 800,000. Thank you. By the way, there's no wrong answers. A lot of brokerages, a lot of franchises, a lot of the Realogy brands define luxury homes as homes that are priced at $1 million and above. Well, I was doing a training for my good friend, Matt Fagioli. He's out of the Atlanta market. Maybe you know Matt. He has conferences called the Explode Conferences. And Matt had me present on breaking into luxury at an Explode conference in November of 2019 in Kokomo, Indiana. I had an agent approach me after that training and say, I'm so glad I attended. I came to this training, this Explode today, because I wanted to hear your session. But I was hesitant because we don't have a lot of luxury or $1 million homes in Kokomo, Indiana. But she said, based on your definition of luxury, we definitely have luxury homes here. So the average price point she went on to share with me in Kokomo, Indiana was $80,000. Okay. So now maybe after the pandemic, maybe it's 120 now. Okay. But $80,000. So we believe that there's 4 price points in most markets. There's 4 price points in most markets. And I want to talk about those 4 price points. I like using the word buckets. There's 4 buckets of price points in most markets. 90% of homes sell in these 4 buckets. Again, there might be vertical or condos. They might be different than single family for your market, but you need to know the average sale price for the markets that you serve. Okay. So in Kokomo, Indiana, at the time, the average sale price was $80,000. I call that bucket number 2. That's kind of your baseline. But the price points below the average price point, or what I would call entry level or starter price points. So bucket number 1 is entry level or starter price point bucket. Bucket number 2 is average price point for that given market. Above that is what we call high-end homes. So $80,000 in Kokomo, Indiana, we define high-end homes as homes that are priced 2 times the average sale price for that given market. So high-end would be 80, in this example, 80,000 times 2. So homes in that 160 price point in Kokomo, Indiana, in this example, were what we consider high-end. And luxury homes, the 4th bucket, again, you have entry level, bucket number 1 or starter. Bucket number 2 is average price point for any given market. Bucket 3 is high-end homes for any given market, which are defined as 2 times the average sale price. And the 4th bucket is what we call luxury price points. We define luxury price points for any given market as 3 times that average sale price. Okay. So that's just how we define it for our course, for our designation. Some brands define it top 10% in your market, top 5%. Most human beings, let alone real estate agents, are terrible at math and terrible at figuring out things. So we keep it really simple. Again, great feedback there. Thank you for that. Again, type in your comments, type in any questions you have. So we talked about today, how do you define luxury homes when it comes to a price point? That's number 1. Number 2, we also talked about the mindset. Your environment is key. No matter what you do for a living, if you have a toxic environment, maybe your significant other pulls your mindset down. You know, the one thing I will tell you is we don't share on this. We don't share
was easy.
The easy button. Everybody's looking for the easy button, whether it be New Year's resolution, whether it be lose your 20 COVID pounds that you put on, whatever it might be. Everybody's looking for the easy button. There's no easy button. You got to have consistency. You got to be consistent. You got to tune out the haters. You got to stay positive on your end goal. And that's the key. Luxury Fridays, Michael LaFido here. If you're just tuning in, each Friday, we're going to be coming to you live on multiple formats, from Facebook to LinkedIn to YouTube. And we might be changing the time. So go to joinluxgroup.com each week if you're not sure, but it's going to be Fridays. Joinluxgroup.com. You'll see the YouTube. And if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you're notified when we release new educational videos, which we're doing all the time. Each week we are. Okay, any questions today, guys? Any questions from Tucson, from Chicago, from we have some people out of the country, it looks like, which is great. Anybody have any questions today? Anybody? By the way, I'm gonna hit invite. I'm gonna hit. If you want me to bring you on video, I'm posting in the comments right now a link. You don't need to download anything. I'll bring you on camera here. Just go ahead and click on that link and we'll bring you on through video. I'd prefer that. Video is not going away. Don't be shy. You know, one of the things I say all the time, I got to find my, 1 second, I got to show you this. I knew I had them here. My objection handling playing cards. Okay, you can find these at luxuryspecialsgear.com. We give these away at a lot of our events. But one of the things I say on my objection handling playing cards is shy real estate agents or shy salespeople have skinny kids. You can't be shy if you're in sales. You got to be able to have conversations, talk to people. You know, if somebody says no to you, okay, somebody says no to you, that's no for today, but they might say yes down the road. Last year, I sold a couple properties, one in particular in Wheaton, for over $1 million. 3 years ago, they interviewed me. They didn't hire me. I didn't slam the door. I said, hey, best of luck to you. You know, if I can help you down the road, let me know. I left that door open. They came back to me. We sold their home for over $1 million. They bought a home over $700,000. I got a referral there. And so if you guys want to jump on the camera, please, that would be great. Just click on that link that I put on there, that StreamYard link. Great question. We've got three great questions in here. So I'm going to start with, in order, tips on marketing a luxury listing. American Made. I love the name, American Made. So tips. So the key is, how do you position homes? How do you position homes? You can have the best copywriter in the world write the description. But again, we're in a dating app industry. People are swiping left, swiping right on the properties that you represent. They're not even going to read the description. You could have the best copywriter in the world. They don't care if the photo quality, the photo order, that what you're highlighting in the photos. I'm about to put a $2 million plus property on the market. It was listed with another agent, and the sellers didn't want to stage the home. So we took photos this week, and it was a long photo shoot, but we had to rearrange some things. The dining room had 10 chairs in it with a big leaf in the table. We removed the leaf. We pulled back 4 chairs. And so there were 6 chairs, and made the room look, smaller table made the room look bigger. We rolled up area rugs. We moved stuff out of photos. Again, our job is to position a home so that buyers can mentally move in. That's really what the definition of insanity, excuse me, not insanity, of staging is. The definition of staging a home is really positioning a home so that buyers and buyer's agent can visually, mentally move in the home. So that's what we did when we repositioned this home that we're going to go live with. So there's no magic button. There's no easy button. Every property that we market, we try to figure out what the best features of that home is and the location. And we try to emphasize and we try to highlight those through photos and description. And then I believe our job is as marketers, don't think yourself as a listing agent, by the way, think of yourself as a marketing agent. There's a calculated difference. A listing agent is passive. They throw it on the MLS, the multiple listing service, and they wait for other agents to sell it. A marketing agent is aggressive. They're proactive. They think outside the box. Okay, there's a calculated difference there. When everybody goes left, you should go right. One of the things that we do in our live courses, uh, so our course that we have coming up in Denver, those that are attending it will get a video brochure. It's got a 10-inch monitor. Okay, it's a way to differentiate yourself. It's got a 10-inch monitor on it. You can literally hit the play button. And if I was going on a listing appointment, I could tell a seller, Mr. Seller, if you hire me, we're going to create a video similar to this video. Okay. And if you can see, Mr. Seller, in this video, we brought in $2.5 million worth of vehicles. Okay. And so my point is, we are in a show and tell industry. We are in a show and tell industry. And my colleagues show up with their laptop or their iPad, and I show up with this. There's a calculated difference there. So number one, you want to position the home differently. That's number one tip for you there. Number two, you want to bring different perspectives to the table. Remember, I talked to you about proofreading. If you were to write a book, you would have someone proofread it. Before you hit that live button and you go live on the multiple listing service and you launch the property out to the world, get some fresh eyes analysis, get some others to look at it. You know, behind me, you see this book here, Who's Who in Luxury Real Estate. I got a Rolodex of Who's Who in Luxury Real Estate, but I got that trophy right there. I was voted the most valuable partner. I got the MVP for Who's Who in Luxury Real Estate. I share that with you from the standpoint of when I speak at their conference year in and year out, they have me come in and do fresh eyes analysis from these top luxury agents. We ask luxury agents to please submit your stale listings, your stale luxury listings. By stale, I mean they're not getting showings. The feedback's negative. Maybe the seller's on them about, hey, what are you going to do to get my home sold? So one of the things I teach them is do a fresh eyes analysis on your property, but have others. So I do a live fresh eyes analysis. Many times they're submitting a link, and we'll be happy to do something like that for you guys. So if you guys have a listing that is stale today and you want us to do a fresh eyes analysis, go ahead and type in the direct link to realtor.com or a trusted website, and we'll try to bring it on live. And it's called show and tell. We are in a show and tell industry, absolutely. And so we will try to do a fresh eyes analysis right here for you. And if we don't do it today because nobody submits it, that's something for next week. Have your stale luxury listings, submit them here to Luxury Fridays, and we'll be glad to teach you on how to position. I'm not going to poke holes in it if you did a great job, but I can take, chances are I can take a look at it and give some constructive criticism on how to position it better. Great question. The Colhane Group asks, what is like working with NFL players? Well, you know, recently I sold a big time NFL Chicago Bears home, 3.9 million. And I'm dealing with a lot of their management. I helped a couple of Chicago Bears coaches. I've helped a Major League Baseball player recently. And what I can tell you is confidentiality and privacy is key. Okay, you got to do what you say you're going to do, but you got to respect their privacy as well. That's going to be really important. You're an advisor. By the way, it's no different with an NFL player and an NBA player or any client. You are an advisor. You're a consultant. You're not a salesperson. A salesperson wants to sell them a home, and an advisor and a consultant wants to talk them through it. So one of the, you know, one of the recent coaches I've helped an NFL team was considering buying versus renting. And guess what I did? I advised him that he should consider renting because I knew that the team that he was going to be coaching for had to win that year. And if they didn't win, there was a good chance the head coach was going to get fired. If the head coach gets fired, all the assistants usually get fired. So I said, you know, I think it's in your best interest to rent. That's what a consultant and expert advisor does versus a salesperson. A salesperson would have tried to sell them an $800,000 home versus, you know, a rental commission. Okay. How do you get those relationships? They take time. They take a lot of time, but I can tell you, people are going to Google you. Have you Googled yourself? Have you looked yourself up on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube? Do you have a YouTube channel? Do you have a website that's updated? People are going to take a look at that, and it's really important that you're optimized. Your contact information is accurate. Your profile picture is consistent. I'm coaching a $100 million Compass agent out of Atlanta, and one of the things in my coaching for her, one of the things I did is I did a fresh eyes analysis on her branding, on her social media, on her websites. There were broken links. There were things that weren't optimized there. And so I challenge you to have a look in the mirror, like the Michael Jackson song. I'm, the man in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror. You got to do a self-analysis, a SWOT analysis of your marketing and your branding. And so getting back to, that question is, how did I get that relationship? Well, a lot of the relationships happen when you have successes. When you have successes, people are going to Google you. They're going to look you up. You're going to get referrals. I literally was approached this week of a buyer looking for a up to $9 million condo in the city because I was involved in another just under $7 million sale. And a buyer's agent contacted me. And so again, there's not one thing. It's a culmination of things. Okay. It's the old success is a journey, not a destination. There's not one magic pill. There's no easy button. It's a culmination of things. There's some trials, some error, some split testing, but very, very good questions you guys are asking. Keep them coming, by the way. Got about another 18 minutes. We'll keep our Luxury Fridays to an hour about, give or take, each week. Again, I got the banner going, luxurydesignation.com. If you guys are interested, we are doing a live training in person in Colorado. No previous luxury sales are required. I don't care what brand you're with. I don't care if you're a newer agent, if you're a rock star agent, if you're a team leader. I think there's 3 ways to make more money in 2022. Number 1 is sell more homes. Number 2 is be more profitable per transaction. And number 3 is increase the average sale price of a transaction. And that's our goal when we help agents and we train agents. We don't say no to anybody. We help agents and we help properties of all types. Recently, I sold a $93,000 lot. So we're in it to help people. I'm helping somebody with a rental right now. Okay. So, next question. Could you share the door knocking strategies for luxury? A little bit more difficult. It's a safe assumption in luxury and really in many homes today that they have smart technology. They have some kind of Ring doorbell and security. So, it's probably not as safe to do door knocking as before, but I'm not discouraging it. But just bear in mind, you're probably being listened to and watched. True story. I think it was 4 years ago now. There was an agent out of Nashville, Tennessee, that contacted me because he was going on a $17 million listing appointment that he door knocked. Now, this is a humorous story. I do not recommend what I'm about to tell you that he did. He went up to this amazing home, and this house is on the market still, I think, for $14.9 million in Nashville. The address is 1358 Page Road. I'll type it in the comment. It's a great house, and the owner is awesome. I think it's 1358pageroad.com. He pulled up to this home, and it was a gated house, and there was a car at the gate, and it looked like there was a party because there were a bunch of cars in the driveway, etc. He followed that car in through the gate, and he got out and he says, "I'm here to see," and he said their name. She goes, "Oh," he didn't say, "I'm, so and so with Remax," and the owner's like, "Oh, I'm her best friend. Come on in." Well, it was this was a gentleman, real estate agent with Remax, and this homeowner was hosting a donation party where these women were donating their fur coats to a cause. And this guy, he's a good-looking guy, kind of looks like Rod Stewart, And he had the guts, the confidence to introduce himself, build a relationship, and he got the listing appointment. So he called me and we went on the listing appointment and she ended up not hiring him. But the moral of the story is, you know, door knocking with high-end and luxury, there's probably not a lot of people doing it. And so with that, maybe that's the reason why you should, right? When not a lot of people are doing it, it's because it either A, doesn't work, or people are too afraid and not comfortable doing it. You got to step out of your comfort zone. I was thinking about that today as I ran over to grab lunch before we started. I'm comfortable with video. For me, this is easy. But I had to step out of my comfort zone a little bit because I'm broadcasting on a new platform that I've never broadcasted. Now, I tested it ahead of time. I had a good friend of mine, Matt Colhane. Shout out to Matt. Thank you so much for your support. Brian's brother, Matt, is awesome. Matt's going to be coming out. He's the director of media at the Colhane Groups, and he's going to be coming out to Denver for our designation event here in a few weeks, 13 days, matter of fact. 13 days. I've never done, let me see here. Well, I probably shouldn't do it the first time, but you guys can go to luxurydesignation.com. There's a countdown clock. We're 13 days. And what we'll do is we'll we'll probably be giving away some really cool, not probably, we are going to be giving away each Friday some really good various prizes and gifts moving forward. So please hit subscribe, hit like, hit share, leave us a comment, leave us a review. If you're getting value, please don't keep us a secret. The way I look at it is, if you as an agent do an awesome job, wouldn't it be nice if the client, the buyer, or the seller gave you a 5-star review? Sometimes we got to ask, because you can't make the assumption they're just going to do it. Well, you got to ask. You got to ask for the referral. You got to ask for the review. And that's what I'm doing right now. If you're getting value from today or our podcast or previous episodes, maybe you're on our Clubhouse before, please leave us a like, leave us a review. All right. Show and tell. So good. Provides referrals. What are leading strategies for getting luxury listings? So you got warm marketing, building your database, your sphere, and you got cold marketing. So, and that's lead gen, prospecting. So prospecting and lead gen. So let me see if I have it here. Maybe it's up here. Yep, here we go. Literally, one of the things that I used to do, I used to send a silver platter in the mail to canceled and expired listings. Again, I realize when a multi-million-dollar home comes off the market, they're going to get hit up with those robocalls. They're going to get some mailers from people, but they're probably not going to get multiple mailers. And if they do get mailers that are multiple, in other words, sent more than one time, they're probably handwritten letters or typed letters, canned letters, why they should hire them. They include their bio. I wanted to differentiate myself. I wanted my mail to get open. There's no guarantee somebody will open the mail. So handwritten, live stamp on there. In other words, not through the postage meter, but put a stamp on it. And I called bulky mail. I would send silver platters in the mail. I had people call me and say, I'm calling you because I got your silver platter. Okay. So that's one thing you can do. Differentiate yourself is do some lead gen and some prospecting. Okay. That's number one. Number two is sphere and database. You can join a chamber of commerce that caters to the high-end clientele. So Texas, I've got some people on here from Texas. You know, if you're in the Dallas market, it's called Highland Park. That's a really high-end upscale area. You can join the Highland Park Chamber of Commerce. Okay. If you're down in Houston, you could go to the Woodlands. Okay. If you're in Dallas, you can go to I'm drawing a blank here. I'm trying to name drop some towns, but you get the idea. Okay, so every market that you're from, there's some higher end. You might have to drive 50 minutes or an hour to join the Chamber of Commerce, but if you're hungry and you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you're committed to increasing your average sale price and break into and dominate selling luxury, then you should seriously consider doing that. So really great information here, guys. Any questions? I'm going to take a drink and open up for any other questions. Anybody wants to join me on video, I'm going to invite you. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste this there. Again, if you want to join in on video, just go ahead and click on that link I just typed in, StreamYard.com. You guys are doing a great job. I'm really enjoying our first live stream, Luxury Fridays. If you're getting value and you're liking this too, please leave us a like, leave us a comment, leave us a review. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? What kind of activities are great to network with luxury clientele? Well, nonprofits, events, charities are great. Great question there. Okay, so figuring out what their causes are. Many people, I was just at Starbucks this morning with a gentleman who works for a billionaire. It works for a billionaire. This guy owns an island, okay, near Richard Branson's island, and many times they have causes. They have a nonprofit, the philanthropical, and trying to figure out what their causes are, what's important to them. That's one way that you can build some affinity. Okay, affinity is trying to figure out some common ground. You ride, you ride a Harley Davidson, and they ride a Harley Davidson, whatever it might be. Affinity. Like when I go on a listing appointment and I'm getting a tour of the home, before I even go on that listing appointment, by the way, I'm Googling the owner. I'm not stalking them, but I want to be prepared. I'm looking them up on LinkedIn, on Facebook, maybe on Instagram, trying to find out as much as I can of them as possible. Not for dirt, but to figure out if there's some things in common that we share and if there's some connections in common that we're friends with. Okay. So some really good, some great questions there. So from the networking, nonprofits, charities, number one. Number two, events. There's various events that go on in your marketplace. So for example, locally here, by the way, car aficionados, if there's car clubs, I've hosted an event at my $9.5 million listing where we had 40 exotic cars there. We had over $10 million in vehicles and the owners of those cars and their guests. So we had 80 high net worth individuals there. One thing that I know about, like my good friends at Chicago Motor Cars and others, that their clients own multiple exotic cars. Guess what? They own probably multiple properties. Rates are so good right now. People could probably get top dollar for their home, and they might be able to even buy a home larger or more unique or private than their current house. So those are some really great questions. There's no easy way to get those relationships. It happens over time. Some of the best ways is to get in with their connections or their sphere, their circle. So you might not be able to get to the guy you want or the person, but through their similar connections, when you Google them and look them up, you might know somebody. I had a $10.5 million listing last year that was referred to me through a guy that used to borrow my work truck. I had a U-Haul truck that was wrapped with my brand, buying, selling a home, my face, my contact information. You don't know where that referral is going to come. This guy worked at a health club, and one of his clients, patients, if you will, was the owner of this $10.5 million listing. She said she was thinking about selling. And guess what? Steve said, you know what? I got the guy for you. She interviewed me. She hired me. You just don't know where your referrals are going to come from. Anybody want to jump on here? I'd love to. Matt, I'd love for you. I know you're not feeling good. You might not feel like it, but I'd love for somebody to click on this StreamYard link so we can have our first guest in video. We haven't had one yet. It'd be great to have our first today. Even if you just want to pop on and say, hey, good stuff, Mike, or whatever, click on that StreamYard. Who's going to be the first? Do I got to bribe you with some kind of prize? I will. All right. The first person that does it, I'm going to give you digital. I'm going to send you our objection handling playing cards. I'm going to give you the PDF version so you can get these in a physical. David Marsh, look at this. David Marsh, thank you for joining me.
So you can get
buddy? these in a physical.
Can you hear me?
David Marr.
Sure. I don't know if I'm getting feedback or not.
I can hear you. It says it's just math.
All right, there we go.
How are you?
Clicked out of the video so I wouldn't get feedback. Doing great, man.
Where's home for you?
Chandler, Arizona.
Oh man, good for you, Chandler, Arizona. And I got Matt Colhane. I'm gonna bring Matt on here. I'm gonna do a 3-stream there. I got 3 here. We're trying something new here. So we got Chandler, Arizona. So first off, David, thank you. David, how did you hear about our Luxury Fridays out of curiosity?
From Matt and Brian.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Is this your first one, or were you on one of our clubhouses?
I was on some clubhouse ones.
Okay, good. Any big aha from today or a previous one that you want to share?
Not really. Just keeping I'm getting picking up some high-end clients now and Googling them and learning a little bit more about who I'm dealing with is very helpful.
Good.
Especially if they're high-end. Like I'm working with the guy that retired. I don't want to say what he did or what he does in case he happens to come across this, but he was an internet lead, and I responded to him instantly through email and asked him if he wanted to go see the property, and he said yes. Thanks for responding so quick. And I met him the next day, and then before we went into the house, I gave him some tips. I said, hey, there's probably cameras and microphones here, so please be careful what you say. I say, if you love the place, definitely don't say it out loud, because then you're going to take all away our negotiating power. And he was shocked. He couldn't believe it. He's like, really? People are recording us? And I'm like, yeah, in Arizona, it's only one party has to consent, whoever's recording it. And so after that, he sent me a nice email. He said, hey, you're the most professional real estate agent that we've ever dealt with. And he owns several properties here locally and in California. So that was a great tip.
That's a great tip. And that's a great reminder. Assume that you're being watched and listened to, letting your client know that. You don't want to lose leverage on a potential deal. I'm selling a home right now for $1.595 million. It's staged, and we just put it under contract, and the owner doesn't want to pay another month of staging. So she wants to get it destaged next Friday. Well, next Friday is a home inspection. I said, we're going to lose leverage if we destage it before the home inspection. Number one, the buyer hasn't come through the home in 2 months. They came through it 2 months ago and just wrote an offer. So we want them to remember it, see it on Friday, a week from today, like they remember it. Number two, if they go there and there's no furniture, we lose leverage on a potential home inspection issue, because they're going to say, well, we got them in a bad spot. They got to do it because they don't want to put their home back on the market vacant. So, hey, David, thanks for joining. Make sure, David, I'm going to type in my email. Make sure you ping me, and actually, hit me in here. I'm going to go to, just type in joinluxegroup.com. You can find my contact information there, and I'll get you the digital objection handling playing cards, sir.
You know what? I think I already have those.
Do you? Have you gone through them?
Yeah, I've read them. Yep.
Did you get anything from it?
Yeah, I'm looking to see where they are.
Oh, that's great. And I'm bringing you on next virtual tour Tuesday. I want to hear your real name here, so I'm going to unmute you in a second. But David's got the cards, so hopefully they're valuable.
Yep, lots of great tips in them.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us, and next week, okay, Luxury Fridays.
Peace.
All right, take care. All right, let me unmute virtual tour Tuesdays, and I'm going to bring Alex on. I'm going to mute you, Alex, but I'll bring you on. Okay, perfect. And first name?
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Jessica.
From Scottsdale. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Jessica. And did I answer your question?
You did. You did, and I think it was just a generalized question because I feel like when people are going in and trying to break into the luxury market, it's really hard, or not hard, but it's more challenging if you're going in as a solo agent compared to if you're starting with a team or already established, and have some sort of mentorship and crossing the boundaries. And I apologize, this is like my fresh from the gym look, although it's not that fresh.
Hey, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, so I just feel like, you know, in regards into the aspect of really trying to break into that grounds and using the OPP method or other people's property and leveraging, I think is a brilliant way. And I've actually have been doing that consistently on my channel, on my YouTube channel. So thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining. By the way, always get permission from the other person's property, right?
Oh, 100%.
And I know you are.
All in writing from every brokerage if I'm featuring another brokerage's property, but especially in the luxury department.
Yeah.
But yes, absolutely.
All right, no problem. Well, hey, thank you so much. Make it a great Friday, and send some of that Arizona warmth up here, would you?
I will. I will.
All right. All right. Cool. Right. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I got Matt and I got Alex. Alex, give me 1 second. Matt, thanks, man. This is going really well. The graphics, everything. I think there's a new component to Luxury Fridays with so many visuals. We'll be able to do some screen shares, bring guests on like yourself, others. So thanks for helping me launch this.
Yeah, Matt, Michael, it looks great. I think the StreamYard software, everything we did, you know, your ideas for all the branding looks really cool. So
yeah,
and you're crushing it as a host.
Hey, well, appreciate you, man. Thank you, Alexander. How you doing, buddy? I'm gonna unmute you there. There you go. Oops, sorry.
It's all good. I got it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Fresh year, new goals, and trying to break into some new markets. I actually live in North Central Phoenix, and I'm in a neighborhood where, you know, the houses are anywhere from 600 to, and that's the low end stuff, up to multi-million-dollar properties, all literally within a quarter of a mile of where I live. And so it's my neighborhood, and I'm tired of other people's signs in it. and that's why I want to do the door knocking stuff as specifically as I can. You know, I understand some of your concerns, and then with COVID, you know, everybody's got a different thing about it. But you know, I'll stand back.
So getting on that door knocking. So what a great idea, not just for door knocking, but also just listed, just sold, or open houses. So let's just say a home sold at 123 Main Street, or is listed at 123 Main Street. I mean, you literally can door knock that area around there or do mailers and say, hey, as you know, 123 Main Street recently sold. I did not represent the buyer or the seller, but that home set a new record, or that home sold in X amount of days. Be a provider of great content and information. Be likable. Because again, Daniel Kahneman once said, people would rather do business with someone they like and they trust rather than someone they don't. Even if this likable person is offering a lower quality product and service at a higher price. So in layman's terms, if you're likable, but you don't have the experience over somebody that has the experience that isn't likable, you still have a really good chance of getting the business. So if you door knock around there, or you do mailers around there, just saying, hey, your home might be worth thinking about selling in 2022. As you know, the home down the street recently sold, and they had multiple offers. If you get more information, even if it's not your listing, always disclose. Don't disclose that it was your listing if it wasn't. But
right.
But say, my understanding is they had a lot of showings, a lot of activity, you know, and that's one way you can, you know, in worst case scenario, if someone's rude or what do you want, say, hey, listen, I'm gonna leave you some information to your door. No rush. My card's there, and just do I did a letter about a week ago because I have a buyer looking in a certain neighborhood, and I didn't get the seller to respond to me, but I got their agent. It's not listed, off-market property. I got it saying, hey, I'm going to be representing this person. My understanding is you might have a buyer. So even if you leave a handwritten note or a canned letter, you know, do that.
I love it. Great ideas.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, guys, we're coming to the end. So thanks for hopping in next Friday. Okay. Luxury Fridays. You can go to joinluxgroup.com. If you go to joinluxgroup.com, we'll be streaming again to LinkedIn, to Facebook, to YouTube. Again, if you are on our YouTube channel, please subscribe. We need more subscriptions. We need more people doing that. And again, come prepared next week with your questions. You guys were awesome. Please don't keep us a secret. Let us know. We got people from all over the country watching. And if you haven't done so, we got 7 tickets left. It's going to sell out. Whether you physically go to Denver or you just want to stream live, let me take 1 minute to go over the luxury designation in Denver. We're going to be pushing that event in 13 days. It's going to be great content, a lot of materials. But if you can't physically go there, that's okay. We're going to be streaming it. And you will get access to our luxury university, which has 10.5 hours of video content, 16 modules. So whether you're live, whether you're there or not, or whether you virtual stream it, you'll get access to all those tools and resources and content. And you guys are awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign off for today. You guys were great. Michael LaFido, keep raising the bar in real estate. Make people feel better about themselves. Again, build others up. People will forget what I say, what you say, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. And like my sign in the back says, prove them wrong and speed cost. Speed cost. They could go with a cheaper agent, but they're going to potentially net less if they get less showings, less qualified buyers, less qualified offers, less experience from the agent in negotiating. Speed cost. Okay. You get what you pay for. My name is Michael LaFido. Make it a great day. Again, joinluxgroup.com is the link that you want to go to get the latest and the next up and coming training. Luxury Fridays. My name is Michael LaFido. Make it a great day.